Yeah. Men, this video is for you. So if you're a lady and you watch my channel, I appreciate you watching. Feel free to stick around and listen to what I have to say. But I gotta warn you, you might get offended by something I say. You might take something that I say wrong. I don't know what I'm gonna say, to be honest. I have a guy here that asked me a question about relationships. And being that now I have a new changing of the guard in my followers or viewers, whatever you want to call them. It's not like I'm a cult leader. I always find that word followers to be weird. But I guess they follow my channel, so followers is appropriate. Anyway, there's a new changing of the guard. As you guys probably know, most of you, I draw a lot of my traffic from my buddy Cole Robinson, the Snake Diet Wizard. And most of his traffic is women. It's about 80% women because they're popping on his page. They want those quick fat loss results, right? My channel started that way as well, but there's a new dynamic on my channel where it's more like 55 to 60% men. So the men are starting to take over. And I don't know what prompted that or why I attract more men than women. It's beyond me what's going on there, but it is the case. And for the first time ever, my coaching program has more men than women as well. So I'm going to address questions from men regarding women from time to time. And feel free to leave comments, but I'm going to just get into it here. We got a question from Andrew. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. He wrote me a big long story, which is cool. I enjoyed reading it, and the guy, I could tell by talking to him that he's no dummy. He's an intelligent guy. And I'll give you the rundown here. I'll paraphrase. I'll give you the footnotes. Andrew basically says that he's pretty well off. He drives a BMW, a new BMW. He wears the nicest clothes, dresses with the latest trends or fashions. He has a nice house. He lives in a nice neighborhood. And in the past, he's attracted a lot of women. So women would check him out. And it makes sense because the guy has money and he projects it, right? Money projects security and comfort. And women like that. That's one of the things that women like. Not all women, okay? Not all women love money and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about, in general, everything I'm saying is based on an average, okay? And in general. And women like a man who provides security. That's what it is. It's financial security. He projects that. He's noticed that ever since this whole COVID thing has happened, there's not as many women looking at him. So he goes out to the grocery store, which is really the only place we can go nowadays. And he notices that there's not as many women looking at him. And he wasn't sure if it was just him or if he lost his mojo or what's happening. And I noticed something myself when I go out to the grocery stores now. And it's the opposite. There's actually more women looking at me. And I'm not trying to attract them. So Andrew's question is, how can he get more women to look at him? And do I think there is some kind of shift in the attraction of women after this whole COVID situation started? So I'm just going to offer some opinions here and some thoughts. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I'm not saying I can tell the future or anything like that. But I actually had a phone call with a friend of mine a few nights ago. We spoke for about 2 hours, and we both noticed the same thing. That when we go to the grocery store, there's more women looking at us. And the funny thing is, I'm not dressing nice when I go to the grocery store. So typically, if I were dressed nice, I would project some of that financial security, and I could get the muscles popping out of the t-shirt and look good, and I would have my beard trimmed, and I'd be groomed well, and women would look at me. But lately, that hasn't been the case. Lately, I've been wearing, old Carhartt hoodies, camo joggers, and just boots or sneakers. And I really didn't give any thought. I didn't put any thought towards what I was wearing to the grocery store. I just wanted to get in and get out, you know? But I did notice a lot of women were looking at me, and the same with my buddy. So let's break down why that probably is. 4 or 5 months ago, Andrew would have been the guy that everybody was looking at because of the financial security thing. Like I said, he's dressed nice. He's a fit dude. He said that he's not jacked up, but he has the body structure of a boxer, which is lean and toned, right? And so that was a good symbol of security a few months ago. But now there is a legitimate threat. Now there is a legitimate threat of some kind of economic collapse, some kind of post-apocalyptic world. I'm not saying it's going to be Mad Max up in this bitch, but I'm saying it could be like Venezuela, or it could be a situation where the economy tanks and we have to deal with more crime, and we have to deal with more physical violence. Because, let's face it, physical violence is a part of human nature. And without these constructs that we have now, this feminized culture, this comforting, this culture based on comfort that we have now, it will go back to the old ways of physical violence. And I think that women innately are emotionally intelligent, highly emotionally intelligent, and they subconsciously know that there's a threat. To them, it's just a feeling a lot of the times, unless they're very intuitive women. But they just get a feeling, right? So my 2 cents on this is that maybe it's partially because now the attraction of security has transferred. And maybe there's higher stock in being a more physically demanding man. What I mean by that is having skills, looking like the kind of guy that can build something, looking like the kind of guy that can fight, looking like the kind of guy that can hunt, looking like the kind of guy that drives a truck, looking like the kind of guy that can fish or make food or find food without grocery stores. Does that make sense? Another thing to look at here too is because I am a kind of guy that can do that stuff. I have martial arts training. I don't claim to be the toughest guy in the fucking world, but I'm not scared of a fight either, right? When you do martial arts for a long time, you realize that fighting is not that big of a deal, and if you can defend yourself, you're not scared to fight other people, even if they're quite a bit bigger than you. Tactical training. I know how to use guns, right? I know how to maneuver with guns. Hunting, fishing, building fires, building structures, fixing vehicles. These are all traits. These are all life skills, traditional masculine life skills that modern society has kind of put to the wayside while everybody's chasing money, right? So the financial types don't have these skills. And I think that some of the women innately recognize this. Another thing about that too is I still walk around with my head up. I notice everybody during this COVID thing, they look like they're lost little puppy dogs. They don't know what to do. They're scared. The men I'm talking about too. And when you rely on one, when you have all your eggs in that basket of financial security and you don't have any life skills, you start to get a little worried. Like, fuck, I can't get my assistant to build me a fire if I have to lay him off. And, I'm not going to have a fucking housekeeper to take care of everything. What if I lose my house? Fuck. You know what I mean? Start to get nervous. Start to lose your confidence. Because your confidence hinges on your bottom line, basically. So what I would say to you, my man, is start to work on your life skills. Start lifting weights. Be stronger. Start running outside. If things ever open back up, get some martial arts training. Learn to fight a little bit. Get some guns. You're in the U.S. It's a lot easier to get guns there than it is for me. Learn to hunt. Learn to fish. Get some fishing rods. Get some fucking warm clothes, my man. Maybe trade in that Beamer for a truck in case you have to go off-road. You know what I mean? Invest in traditional masculine values. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being feminine. There's not. If you're a woman, if you're a man, it makes you a weak man. It truly does. You can be compassionate, you can be a good person, but it makes you weak in times of despair, in times of, downturns, collapses, hardships. The strong men rise to the top. The weak men get pushed out. It reminds me of, and it's funny, man, like, you're not going to fit a fucking 6-inch blade in your skinny jeans. You can't hunt in fucking, what are those shoes you guys wear? Boss or whatever, Hugo Boss shoes. It's not going to be practical for hunting, my man. You know what I mean? It's going to be cold if you're trying to fish in Versace clothes. Like, fuck. So, I was going to say, it reminds me of the old Looney Tunes cartoon. And in particular, the one with the sheepdog and Wile E. Coyote and the sheep herd. So, I don't know if you ever heard this analogy of be the sheepdog. I really like that one. But to get a visual, watch the Looney Tunes thing. Basically the sheepdog is everything. He's all the positive masculine values. He takes care of the herd, He watches over his family, basically, the weaker members of his family, the kids, the women, and this is where somebody's head explodes. Women aren't weak! Physically compared to men, on average, women are weak. Okay, I'm sorry. Women are very intelligent, and they have strengths in other areas, but general fighting and strength, whoa, what about Ronda Rousey and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's some outliers, okay? But let's look at it. The strongest man in the world is stronger, way stronger than the strongest woman in the world. And there's a reason why they separate men's and women's sports. That's a fact. That's not me being an asshole. That is a fact, a genetic fact, okay? It doesn't make women lesser than men. So anyway, my point is, the sheepdog takes care of his herd, takes care of his flock, and he has all the positive masculine virtues. He protects them from the wolf or the coyote in the cartoon, right? And it's funny because in modern feminized society, we're taught that the sheepdog is the wolf. He's no different than the wolf. And the sheepdog is shamed by the sheep. The sheepdog is ridiculed by the sheep. Meanwhile, who's pulling the strings of the sheep? The fucking wolf. He's pulling the strings. He's the one that wants to get rid of the sheepdogs so that he can take over everything. You dig? So the sheepdog is the kind of guy that's going to protect his family. He's going to be good to his woman. And he is the strong, masculine leader of the family. Whereas compared to the wolf, who would likely be the type to beat his wife or take advantage of people for money, right? The sheepdog protects them. And I think what's going on, you see a lot of divorces happening now because everybody's stuck together and they're spending too much time together. A lot of people breaking up, can't stand to be around each other. You know, it's probably because some of the women are being cunts as well. But on the men's side, I think it's because the women are starting to realize how weak their men are. They're starting to realize that their men are really just blue sheep, right? And not sheepdogs like they thought. Because they put all the eggs in that financial basket and didn't learn any life skills. So that's just my opinion, man. I think be the sheepdog. Another thing, too, he asked me how to get results with women, how to attract more women. I'm not purposely trying to attract these women. I have a girlfriend. I'm happy where I'm at. I did the whole, hook up with random chicks when I was in my early 20s. And I got to tell you, man, there's nothing on the other side of that. It was just some self-validation issues I had at the time. So hopefully you're over that and you're looking for the right woman. Because this advice is to attract the right woman. It's funny because it's indirect. By directly making yourself a better man with better skills, you indirectly attract the right kind of woman. So I know he mentioned a lot of pickup techniques and stuff that he was taught. Pickup is weak. Pickup is, it really is, it's a boy's game. It's not a man's game. Because it's a game. It's tricks. It's just parlor tricks. It teaches you how to get women into bed. It doesn't teach you how to get a quality woman and keep her. Right? So something more practical along the lines of this would be a better option for getting and keeping a quality woman. And then, of course, you also have to have the character, right? You got to be loyal, man. Can't fuck around. You got to be a provider and a protector. And then your confidence is what will draw them in. Because when shit hits the fan like it is now, you won't be worried about anything. You'll be the only guy in the fucking grocery store walking around with your head held high. Shit, I haven't even shaved since this whole COVID thing. I look like shit, and I'm attracting women. How? I think it's mainly because of the confidence. I'm more curious about what's going on than fearful. The only thing I worry about is my children. So I struggle a little bit there. My curiosity fights with my concern for my kids. But other than that, I'm not concerned for myself. I'm not scared of what's going to happen in the future. And I'm not saying you have to be a doomsday prepper either, but I'm saying have the skills to be able to handle yourself in any situation. Then that carries over to confidence, and confidence carries over to attraction. And it also carries over to security, and boom, you attract the right woman. So I rambled on for a long time here, almost 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. My coaching list is currently full, but if you'd like to hit me up and get in the queue for next month, my coaching, you can contact me at Snake Diet Dan on Instagram, at Snake Diet Dan on Facebook. Here's my business page. Dan Leroy, LEROI, my personal page on Facebook. And the number 4, Element, ELEMENT, fit, FIT, at gmail.com. Alright, I'll let you guys go. Love yous. Peace. Or maybe war. So be strong, motherfuckers.